Hi students, Mrs. Jenkins here, and this is your week 4 announcement. And can you believe we're in week 4 already? That means we're almost halfway done with the course, which I think is pretty crazy. It's going by super fast. So this week, well, first of all, last week was week 3, and we looked at mostly atmospheric pressure and how that impacts winds. Winds flow, from high pressure to low pressure, and then we also took into account what effect the Coriolis effect has on winds, deflecting it to the right in the northern hemisphere, to the left in the southern hemisphere, as well as how friction can impact winds. The other thing that we focused a great deal on in week 3 was the adiabatic processes in the beginning of how clouds form due to those processes. This week we're going to delve deeper into the formation of clouds, and you're going to review mechanisms that cause the air to lift, which will eventually lead to cloud formation. And you're also going to take a look at air stability and how that impacts the different clouds. And something else that's really fun usually for people to review is cloud types, because it's easily applied. You can, as soon as you read through it, you can go practice by looking out your window and seeing what cloud types you have. I would show you what we have out my window today, but for once we actually have a clear sky, which is pretty unusual here. But so there's no cloud types. And then in so that was chapter 6 in your text. It was reviewing cloud formation and cloud types. And then in chapter 7, you're going to look at precipitation and how it forms and the different types there. So something else I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about a little bit, in case you haven't already been doing this, before you complete your readings for the week, I suggest you take a look at the assignments that are due, review the rubrics and the guidelines so you know where to focus your attentions when you're completing the text readings and your video lessons that are usually attached to your module lessons. So take a look at those rubrics, in particular the final project rubric. So for example, you guys have already completed the first milestone for the final project, which was on the basic composition of the atmosphere. Well, in week 4, which is this week, we're going to submit milestone 2, which is going to add to that. So go ahead and make your revisions to the milestone 1 material based on the feedback I gave you, and also based on some of the new material that you have covered the last couple of weeks. So go ahead and update that. Then you're going to add the milestone 2 portion, which you would have learned about in week 3. Let's see, let me scroll down. So right here I have the final project rubric pulled up, and in milestone 2 you're going to include information about atmospheric forces that generate the resulting surface wind. So wind related to pressure and isobars and the pressure gradient. That was talked about in week 3. Contrasting surface winds to the atmospheric winds. That was also talked about in week 3. I believe week 3 also touched some on the phase changes, condensation, freezing, and some adiabatic processes and parcel theory, but you also will get into that a little bit more in week 4 this week as well. And then in addition, so you need to focus on, when you're reviewing the material for week 4 and this week, make sure you also focus on the different forms of condensation, which would be cloud types, and the role of atmospheric stability in the development of clouds, so stable air versus unstable air, and etc. And also look at the precipitation generating mechanisms that form the various forms of precipitation. So those are the things that you need to focus on when you're going through that material, and that'll help you complete your presentation for your final project. So if you haven't been doing that yet, go ahead and start doing that. If you have already been doing that, that's great. Also, if you need any help or having any trouble with any of these concepts, please reach out to me and let me know. Sometimes it's hard for me to know where you guys are struggling unless you ask questions, because you want to have help before you turn in your assignments. So go ahead and post those to the general discussion board, because other people might have the same questions. If it's a personal question, of course, just feel free to email me. And I'll include some more resources below this video announcement for you guys to review for the week, and I hope you have a good week. Bye.